Hello and welcome to another edition of the Eternal Journey. I'm That Resolves and this is Argenport. So I'm playing in the ETS this weekend because I've finally got some free time on a Saturday. And it's a toss up between playing this or Xeon and Killers. So I thought I'd make a video where I play the deck for a couple of games and see what I decide on in the end. Okay, so Argenport is basically unchanged for the past couple of months. The only thing that's really changed is the inclusion of Inquisitor's Blade and the Ripknife Assassin. As well as switching in and out the Crownwatch Traitor and the Impending Doom. I think even though Impending Doom is perhaps better defensively against the flying TJP deck, I do prefer Crownwatch Traitor because I feel like it's a lot better in other matchups like against Skycrack, as well as even in the TJP matchup, it's quite a good attacker. Of course, we're going to be a little bit loose to Equivocate because Equivocate is really good against stuff like Tavrod and the Crownwatch Traitor, of course. But I feel with a similar flying suite with the Enforcer and the Commando, and just a bunch of other interaction like the Vara's favourite to pop Shelter Wings, that we should really be okay, and hopefully we're able to snag a couple of stand-togethers with the Sabotages. Okay, so let's get on to those games. Okay, and this hand on the draw might be fine. I don't like that we've got two really powerful 2-drops, and if we're against like a beatdown, I draw the third power, we get to just jam the Bloodletter on the Crownwatch Paladin. So this hand is probably fine, but we do really need a third power. So as we're on the draw, I've got an extra chance to draw it, so I will keep that. Okay, well, our opponent's got Nightfall, so it should help us hit that power. So I'm not sure what type of deck this could be. This could be like a Praxis beatdown deck. Yeah, so this must just be a new inclusion in the tokens deck, perhaps. Well, right now, if we play the Assassin, we are slightly better at being able to block, but I'd much rather put the Bloodletter on the Crownwatch Paladin because then we don't get just blown up by a torch on our opponent's turn. Although we won't be able to block this turn, but that's also sort of fine because it means we get to get in there for 5 and gain some lives. Well, Nocturnal Creeper makes us feel a little bit silly here. So I think the play might just be to get this Valkyrie Enforcer down, silence the 2-1. And I guess our plan's changed here. Maybe we'll just be putting the Bloodletter on the 3-3 here.
Time quickens.
Just having 6 powers worth of lifesteal. As the ground isn't really safe for us anymore if our opponent's just going to be playing like mono Nocturnal Creepers. I think actually we're just going to flood the board a little bit. As I should keep our opponent from attacking here, really. They can sort of get us with a rally, I suppose. And Xeon Obelisk is pretty huge too there. Everything would be a trade here. So I suppose we'll just make our blocks. A little bit too late for the Vara's favour here, so I need to consider what we're doing here, because we are facing down a pretty big board here. And I think the plan's changed again to be leaning on the Crownwatch Traitor. Pretty sure if our opponent had a torch, they would have used it already. And right now, when it gets to our turn, we're going to be able to stick the Bloodletter on it. Well, I suppose if they had a torch, we would have been dead already, so let's just get a life here. And get with the Bloodletter. So we do get to gain 8 here, and we're going to have like a 6-8 blocker. I'm going to keep back the Valkyrie right now though. Just want to buffer our life, then just have like a reasonable board just for making some blocks here. But probably just chumps with the Spark Catcher or just takes it if they just want to get in there and kill us. But just being at 12 life should buy us a little bit of time here. And we've got a 6-8 endurance. So this is pretty well insulated from anything like Obliterate.
Which would you like?
Next turn, I was going to play two things. I would like to play the Auric Runehammer, but I think it's probably just going to be play Interrogator and Paladin and get the Crest of Vengeance down. Well, Vanquish isn't doing very much right now. But this is an interesting build of tokens. I do like the Spark Hatcher. As it is 2 bodies and it plays around removal quite well as well. Or at least sweepers. Wow, so the Arcane Monitor is huge here. But it will just get vanquished here. So are we dead? Well, I suppose we have to make some blocks here. So let's kill the 4/4. So we'll just jump in this. Couple this. So we take 258. Which isn't excellent for us, but we do get to get rid of a bunch of our opponent's board at least. So I suppose we vanquish this. Sadly, we are 1 shot. So we'll just get him for the 8. Now the Runehammer does put us to 5 and we get to kill 1 thing. And do get to block 2. So I just need to consider here, is the Runehammer better than the Auric Interrogator? If there's a torch, we're pretty much dead anyway. So we'll go 5, kill the 2/2, we take 3, and then we get to win in the next turn with the Inquisitor's Blade. So I think we'll play the Runehammer just because it's going to play around just any sort of exhaust effects, or anything else that opponent can have. I'm not sure which one's correct, but we'll give this one a go. This is a good sign if our opponent's just doing this. Okay, so the Venom Rider is really good here because the Venom Rider is going to kill us. But I was feeling quite safe there. Oh, dead anyway. Let's block the Venom Rider, go out with style. Yeah, sort of nice to lose to Praxis tokens, as that's one of the new player deck guides that just released the other day. Although that wasn't my build. Okay, so here we are on the draw again. This hand is a little bit slow, but in a lot of matchups you'll often win them just based off Unseen Commando and the Crownwatch Traitor. So we'll keep this because we do get to scout on the first turn and just try and find a sort of 2-drop to fill in our curve a little bit. Well, we're out against a fire deck here. I will keep the Vara's Favour. It is a little bit too much power, but if our opponent's playing a fire sigil deck, then maybe we can turn the sigil into an actual spell here. Unlucky for us, we're playing against Ricano rather than Scarecrow or Stonescar, so there's not going to be any targets for this really. But if our opponent is playing Runehammer or anything like that, or maybe something with Aegis, we'll be able to use this later on to pop that and then slay it off. Well, we're just going to present our opponent with a torch target for the next 3 turns because we're just going to go Commando, Traitor. So if they do have a torch, that's, they're not going to have 3 of them. And one of these threats will stick and be able to win the game for us. Of course, taking 5 here is not ideal. But I think the plan is going to be to attack in the air, gain a couple of lives. Then on the next turn, rather than loading up with another Crownwatch Traitor, we'll just do the favour into Slay play. So we're going to take a bunch of damage from this, but we've got it pretty much covered after this. I'd ideally like to see our opponent put another weapon on it. So they put like a deep forge plate because I feel like it's safe. Oh, okay. I was wondering why they said Warcry 2, but it must have been given Warcry from the Tranquil Scholar over here. But it looks like the opponent's not falling for our trick here, not putting any more weapons up. There we go. Got a Bloodletter, which is going to be pretty great later on. It might be worth putting on the Crownwatch Traitor now. I might be just to attack with 6 with Traitor and 3 over here, gain some lives. Then just set up the play we was talking about. Then we should be in a pretty commanding position. I didn't feel like there was any sort of fast effect there, so we just get to slay this off. And I've got a really good defensive wall here. If our opponent attacks with both, I'm probably just going to block the 2-2 over here, rather than getting blown up by actual torch or finest hour over here. I suppose the finest hour does kill our unit either way, but it just reduces the amount of things that opponent could have by half. But I'm feeling pretty clever about not having that Bloodletter in play now. And opponent attacking for 4. Yep. Maybe they just want the war cries. Yeah, so there's finest hour that we were considering, but I was putting them down to just having. They had a lot less outs that way. Well, let's play another Crownwatch Traitor.
For the true queen.
Could have been slightly better there just to play the Tavrod Auric Broker. Well, so it's going to keep presenting our opponent with threats here that they really have to deal with. Well, here we go. This is probably enough to seal the deal. Let's now get double buffs from the Commandos, and we're just going to gain 1,000,000 life, but unfortunately the game's over. But a pretty interesting Ripknife list. I've not seen the Rune Crawler yet in there before, but it's, it's a decent inclusion, especially if you've not got the campaign for the Yeti. Okay, on the draw again, never lucky. And this hand would be absolutely perfect if we had a second Justice source. I think as we are on the draw and how powerful Unseen Commandos are in multiples, I think I'm willing to keep this, but I think it's more than fair to actually just redraw that hand. Okay, let's have a look against Ripknife again. And we desperately need that second Justice source. So bottom anything, well, Crest of Vengeance is sort of it. I don't want to bottom that and just miss on an actual second source.
Weapons unmatched.
But I think the story here is that we're just going to miss for the turn by not playing the Ripknife Assassin. Vanquish can be good against this deck, and it also slots in on like turn 4 with the Ripknife Assassin, so I think I will keep that. Even though I'm pretty sure next turn I'm just going to play the Unseen Commando, and next turn just do the same thing as well.
I'll handle this. The end.
Fortunately for us, Ripknife's power base is a little bit shaky in regards to influence, so sometimes the Champion of Glory is not got insurance as well. That's not going to be super relevant here, because we won't be able to, well, we've got flying units here, so it's not going to be able to block. But sometimes you can just have like a 1-3 champion, and that's not a great spot to be in. So yeah, this 3-1 attack is basically free for our opponent. Our opponent had to basically torch on their turn, because now we get to attack, we just get double buffs. So back to 19, you see how our life totals are just getting closer together. Of course, the old Valkyrie Enforcer versus the Champion of Glory is pretty nice. suppose this is feeling like the power of the TJP deck, where you're able to attack and your opponent just isn't really, so you get to decide what's going on with the game, because you decide whether you block or not, and your opponent doesn't get any choice because your units are all flying and theirs are all stuck on the ground. But fortunately, I think our opponent had some influence and power struggles there. Okay, here we are on the play with a terrible hand, because we do really need to have a mix of influence, and this is a lot better. Probably going to Crest here, just try and find some sort of weapon to make the Paladin and Interrogator sort of come together here. So Slate in the dark, so it's probably good. It's going to help us keep getting through with our units. And against Fel, that's probably not going to be excellent. Well, at least if our opponent just plays like a Bloodcaster, we should be able to slay that. Not really into getting to the late game where we're just trying to fight through Aegis with Slays.
My favorite part.
Okay, well, just gonna get in there, and then we'll just set up the next turn with this Inquisitor's Blade. Probably just going to jam the blade on the Aegis unit, just make it incredibly difficult for our opponent to deal with. And Enforcer is probably great because that's a much nicer way of setting up the Slays. Because you can just pop an Aegis with it, and then get in there with the Slay the next turn, and you've also been able to develop your board, rather than just basically spending 6 power, discard a card to kill like a champion or something that was in the way. I'm going to keep the Valkyrie Enforcer in hand, I think. And actually the Auric Interrogator there is going to be good because we are going to get a Warcry on it. So we'll be able to cycle that straight away. And we're able to make In Cold Blood look pretty silly right now because it's not going to do very much. Our opponents had to spend the turn just trying to draw some sort of way out of this, but perhaps if they find like I said with Permafrost, we're able to favour this and then frost it, which should be reasonably gross because then we'll never get the Inquisitor's Blade back. Okay, well they're setting up with the Lightning Strike to be able to deal with this next turn. But that just means we're able to do this. We're able to cycle our free power 5-4. Our opponent's going to have to deal with both of them to not be in a lot of trouble. Black Hamager doesn't quite do it either, because we'll just be able to slay that down. I'm glad that In Cold Blood doesn't kill Inquisitor's Blade. Yeah, it's just typical clunky Fel, sadly. Game does go a lot differently when they're able to interact with you on a bunch of the other game and then they're just able to get there with the Aegis units, but sometimes they just miss because the deck is pretty clunky. Okay, well, I don't think this hand is remotely keepable because Auric Interrogator really needs other stuff to support it to be able to get going. Just a 4-3 for free isn't super exciting when it's backed up for Slay, so I think we'll redraw this because if we do draw more power, we are probably dead there. And this is much more exciting. Get to Crest here, try and find undepleted power, and then just get to shred our opponent's hand and silence whatever they're doing with their unit deck. Bloodletter's pretty fine, just having like a 6-6 flyer when your opponent's not got any removal spells in hand or any board is pretty great. Okay, so this looks like Gunslingers. Well, let's find out what they're playing with. Let's get that Bloodletter out of here. We'll chuck the banner down just because that keeps our Seat of Legends live to be played next turn. So we could fire this off to see if our opponents like drew a removal spell on the last one card, but I think I want to save this. Like next turn if we draw an undepleted power, then I'll definitely just fire off the Sabotage into the Valkyrie Enforcer. But I think for now we just Enforcer, silence this 2-3. Then next turn if we don't fear anything like an Annihilate, we're just able to Bloodletter up. But I think for the most part we're probably just going to Ripknife Assassin. Oh, okay. I probably wants to. I put came to race. Well, if kill this, it does a lot of damage to him. So We'll Sabotage at this point. Opponent's got no removal, so just get to sit back on the Ripknife Assassin. Then I think next turn will be the turn where we get in there with the Bloodletter. Yeah, let's just get our beat down up. We're back to 23. We're going to take a bunch of damage on the ground. But hopefully we draw an Undepleted Power next turn. We're just able to Vanquish something and Ripknife Assassin up. Okay, well, opponent's got the same play we wanted. And there we go. So we get to Vanquish this.
Send a message.
And we get to send a message over here. We are probably just going to have to block the Instigator here and then hopefully draw Undepleted Power so we get to slam this Tavrod, but if not, we're going to be in the very sad position where we're going to have to slay a 2-3. Well, new plan. Get the Unseen Commando down, and it's not only like sort of stone walls what our opponent's got here, though if they do attack, I'm probably not blocking. I don't want to get our unit Vara's favoured to death. Okay, so Hammer of Might means we are taking 5, but I'm just going to slay this and gain some lives here. And just having a 3-5 isn't going to do much, so I'd rather just slay it. And next turn we should be able to deploy our Crownwatch, and if not, just get the Tavrod down. And hopefully we're just able to be in a good position before our opponent's able to draw whatever they got all those Walker Eyes on. We get to attack here for practically free and go to 10. Should be reasonably difficult for our opponent to kill us from there. Next turn, I'm just going to Inquisitor's Blade up on the Crownwatch Traitor. Now, perhaps this would have been a spot where the Impending Doom would have been slightly better here for us. My opponent just gets to 8 us, which is reasonably gross here. And now I need to consider what I'm going to be doing. So, we'd have a big boy here, but it would still be dead to the Rooftop Vigilante. So we're getting for 9, but it gets to do 12 damage. We get to gain that, so I think that's probably better. Our opponents are basically having to find another 6 points of damage right here. I don't think they're going to be able to. But it was a really interesting build of Argenport our opponent was playing there. Like minor Valkyrie Gunslinger sub-theme. Okay, and here we are for the last game. This time it's got a lot of powerful stuff in it, but I think this is another one where I really want to see a third power, or at least some 2-drops just to be able to capitalise our being on the play. This is much better, because we get to play 2, 3, 4, and hopefully this Crest will find us that third power. Probably just going to bottom anything that isn't a power, and Argenport opponent's great, because our opponent's going to have a very short window to have to deal with the Assassin, and then we're going to be able to play our unit power over there.
Send a message.
Okay, it looks very much like we could be the mirror here. And now it's considered, I'm going to Sabotage and not develop our board. And that might be worth it if we're able to snipe a Bloodletter, but we'll be able to block the Ripknife Assassin next turn anyway. I think we just really want to develop our board. Getting for free here makes it incredibly difficult for our opponent to block. We could have perhaps attacked first and not play the Unseen Commando, play the Interrogator instead, just to see if our opponent would block there. Because the Ripknife Assassin is a bit of a nuisance in this matchup. Well, sadly our opponent has agreed, so let's play another one just to... Okay, well we're on the draw here, and I'd like to like this hand, but it's just not enough interaction, so I think it's just a redraw. And this is much better. We get to try and find a undepleted power or something here. And if we're able to find it, we get to go 2, 3, 3. Okay, so great. So now we get to bottom anything that's a power. So get out of here, Shadow Sigil.
It's written right here.
Oh, even better. We're able to find the Justice Source, which means we're able to naturally curve into the Unseen Commando, so we're able to attack into this Temple Scribe, because Temple Scribe is a bit of a nuisance because it is able to trade with the Crownwatch Paladin otherwise. Sig Power means I must be playing perhaps Praxis here. I'm a little bit concerned by this Sig Power play time source.
Trust in your skills.
Because I'm not sure that the mono time deck really needs anything like deck thinning. So Sandstorm Time would be a bit of a nuisance here. Timekeeper, that's aggressive inclusion. So we're going to Crest first just to help us inform our decision. And Emerald Monument is perhaps a reason. Yeah, we'll keep that because that means we're able to Bloodletter and then Monument next turn. So if we Bloodletter it practically it's +4/+4. And we'll be able to get trade for both of these units. I think that's fine. Our opponent doesn't go for it because this will grow over time. Then we are able to put another weapon on it. Also get to gain 1,000,000 lives, which is pretty nice. And our opponent just doesn't have a board anymore. Then next time, I think there's going to be a new plan where we're just going to play down the Auric Interrogator. Just to keep drawing some cards. Maybe it was a mistake to allow that trade and we should have put the weapon on the Unseen Commando because we'd be able to really load it up. But I'm also a little bit concerned about Praxis Displacer, just popping something back into our hand after we've gone deep by putting weapons on it. Okay, so what can we do here? We've got 6 power to be working with. We can make the Auric Interrogator into an 8/7. I think that's what we'll do actually. Because our opponent realistically can't block. So they get to take a bunch of damage, and then next turn we get to load up with another Unseen Commando. Even better, we've got the Vanquish to remove whatever their hope is, because it's going to be Sandstorm Titan that's going to be a real problem. And the Z initiation here is pretty good because our opponent does get to get us here.
Trust in your skills.
I suppose our new planners are beaten down with the Unseen Commandos. Ooh, that Desert Wasp is brilliant. Let's just slam the Interrogator. We've still got a lot going on. We're able to pop anything down out of the air, and we're able to vanquish any big threats. Our opponent's been really impressive here. I'm just going to get the Valkyrie up here just so we've got something actually in play. And then that way we can just keep the Vanquish for dealing with something like a Sandstorm Titan. This is slightly worse against the Initiation or Twilight Hunt. But we're 46 lives, so we can sort of leave a 6/6 in play. It's actively not doing anything unless there was a killer effect.
You cannot put out the light.
Okay, so our opponent's going for the Initiation killer effect. Well, the attack here is basically free for them. And any weapon does win the game for us. Well, not that weapon. Actually, it does, yeah. There we go, get to Runehammer him out. Now, I think I'm probably just going to play Argenport. Okay, so this was the Argenport list. I'm probably going to be taken to the ETS now. I wasn't really sure, but it's just, you know, it's the old faithful deck. I'm used to playing it. I've played it for a long time. So it's probably just easy for me to pick this and play. And if I do get battered by a bunch of Time Justice Primal Flyers decks, then so be it. Just want to try my luck with the old Tavrod over here. Okay, so thanks for watching. I've been That Resolves, and it's been ETS Argenport. For those of you that are still around, I've started a new player series, which is looking at decks and the way that a new player could build the first version of it and then improve it over the next couple of weeks. So if you'd like to pop over onto that playlist, I will try and use some YouTube magic to stick the playlist somewhere around here just so you're able to find it. And if not, I'll just stick it in the description. Okay, thanks for watching. I've been That Resolves.